Actually, I don't even know what you're referring to.
You know the kids, the little hens, bringing you little notes.
Uh, my kid's been in bed for a couple hours now.
Nice.
I don't know what kind of place you're running there.
Well, we're also an hour behind from where you live, so we're almost there. He's getting ready for bed right now, but I figured he wanted to give me a few letters beforehand.
Okay. You're still. It's still later than we would normally put our child to bed.
Mm-hmm. You and
Is
your
that?
elitist personality, Jeff. How dare you?
That is exactly right. I
Look at this.
judge you and how you raise your child.
Anyway, welcome to Jackass Express Podcast, episode 50. Today we have joining us Mr. Tip Bambrook,
Hello.
and also joining us the ever elusive Mr. Jeffrey Mickelson.
Good evening.
And guys, today is a very momentous occasion. It is episode 50 of the Jackass Express podcast, which means this is all we could get.
It is kind of amazing that you got the two least active members of the Jackass Express.
Well, we were trying to plan something special for episode 50, but I completely forgot that was the episode that was coming up. So it caught me off guard, and now I'm like, oh, gosh, I forgot to bloody plan something. So we were tempted to call this episode 49 and a half, but I had already made the thumbnail, so screw it. It's episode 50. Then the guys can celebrate for episode 51.
So to our
Slackers.
tens of listeners, welcome.
Yes. Boy, have we got some news for you.
Do we?
Yes. Apparently, Tip found a beetle at work today.
Yeah, that sucker was huge. It was actually I found out what it was called. Let me get on the imager.
Beetle.
A Hercules, Eastern Hercules beetle.
Are those native to Dallas, Tip?
They are beetles that are Herculean.
Hey Jude,
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
don't make it sad.
The one I found was a female.
How did you check?
The internet told me.
You didn't. You just didn't like turn over the thorax and be like, "Hey."
No, because I think the males have like this weird rhinoceros horn deal going on, and females don't.
Oh, so it's like a Nidoran and a Nidorina.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
I see. I know stuff. I know stuff.
I think you made that up.
No,
Yeah.
those are names of Pokemon.
Okay.
Oh, come on. You can't be that completely out of touch. You know what Pokemon is.
I played Pokemon Go until I almost caught a Pikachu, and then I figured I won, and I was done.
Oh, it's just like in Pokemon. You got the male, like, uh, Nidoran, and I think it has a horn, and the Nidorina does not have a horn.
Sure.
No, wait. It's Nidorino and Nidorina. That's what it is. My bad.
Okay.
Tip, you're not making me feel confident about myself today. Your whole job here is to make me feel confident.
Tip has a job.
Well, he collects
When
beetles.
did that happen?
Collects beetles
Oh.
for a living. That's
So apparently there's an HEB in Mexico, but there's not an HEB in El Paso.
Is it
I
really?
thought El Paso was in Mexico.
Contrary to popular belief.
No, it is not. It is not in Mexico. We are very close. We can actually see the other side of the border from.
You could see Mexico from your house.
Yes.
Literally.
We share a lot with Sarah Palin, but we actually can on our drive to work on the freeway. You look to the left and there's Mexico right there. It's right across from our university, actually. But no, contrary to popular belief, we are not in Mexico.
Uh,
I still have to pay American taxes. Very difficult.
So here we go. We can do a little background on HEB.
Okay.
They were founded in 1905 by Florence Butt in
But what?
Kerrville, Texas. And that's all I got.
Nice.
Well, episode 50 is turning into a real snoozer.
So far, but I mean that's okay. We're here with the intention of bringing enlightenment to the listeners, Jeff. You always forget that. That's what our purpose is here, is to bring unheard news to the listeners.
Okay, how about we do big news since episode 49?
Well,
When
actually,
was episode 49? Last year?
no.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
No. And actually, I have a list of things here I want to talk about. I'm just trying to think of clever ways to segue into them, and it's very difficult.
Forget
Oh.
segues.
It was 49 was when we talked about the giant gummy bears.
Oh, that's right. Did we ever get one of those?
That feels like forever ago.
It was April 7th, apparently. So
You know what I love about this podcast is that we don't have to wait for anybody to criticize it for us. We just do it up front. That's what's important here. I like it.
I guess I'll start. Since the podcast last aired, I had a girlfriend and then I broke up with her.
And what happened? Did it just not? You guys didn't see eye to eye, or?
I attract something called the crazies. And we date until I get scared and then I break up with them and hide.
To be fair, saying
is-
that you attract the crazies though might imply that you might be a bit off yourself there, Mr. Tip.
Well, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
probably.
But let me ask
But-
you: if you were paid $5,000 a month to go get married to one, would you do that?
Yeah,
But have to marry a crazy person.
that's okay.
The reason I say that is because Chase had brought up this fake news article that claimed that if you moved to Iceland, they'd pay you 1,800 euros to marry someone from Iceland. And even though that was totally fabricated, it still was an interesting concept to battle like these eastern regions that are struggling with population. Would it ever come to the point where people would be paid to go and marry people in those countries just to help repopulate the area?
Well, here's the deal, because I just read an article on NBC. I'm sending you guys a link right now about guys that are making sex doll robots. So it's gonna get to the point.
I don't want to read an article about you.
It's getting to the point where you're gonna have to pay people to get married and procreate, because why put up with all the rigors and the ups and downs in a relationship? You can just buy a robot and turn off the robot every time you get bored with it.
You're saying that okay, that would imply that that's the only reason anybody would be in a relationship. What about spiritual fulfillment and companionship and stuff like that?
That's been replaced with Twitter.
We're talking to Tip, remember?
Oh, that's very true. Poor Tip, man. It's okay.
I'm just saying, the society has degenerated to such a point where people are making sex robots and it's on NBC News.
I don't think people make that because our society's falling apart. I think people make that because it makes money, and they know there's a large profit margin that will be made by having sex robots, especially with the males.
There is a large market for sex robots because society is falling apart.
Oh god. Well, I mean, I guess there is somewhat of a correlation, but if they
Didn't
had
you ever see the movie AI?
no, I saw iRobot with Will Smith.
AI was with Haley Joel Osment,
Huh.
and he is a robot kid, and Jude Law's character is a robot male sex robot who saves
I don't
him.
think I want to know anymore.
We're scaring Jeff. Wait a minute. Okay? The AI kid, is that Anakin?
No, Haley Joel Osment is the kid that saw dead people. Anakin's a meth head now that got arrested in South Carolina.
Oh, is that who that kid grew up to be? Oh wait, no. Yeah, you're talking about the meth head kid. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah, Anakin turned into a meth head.
Oh, the first one or the second one? Hayden Christensen or the first one?
The first one.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
The second one, I don't know what happened to him.
He grew up dealing with outer space things and talking to CGI puppets. Poor kid, man.
Well, when your first movie is Star Wars, but then it's the first Star Wars with Jar Jar Binks.
Right.
I mean, you gotta give the guy some leeway.
I mean, you tell this kid, hey, you're going to be a star, kid. You're going to be in one of the greatest movies ever, Star Wars. It's going to be amazing. Everyone's going to talk about you. And then it comes to find out that that's probably one of the most hated movies of Star Wars out there, let alone one of the most hated movies, period. The Phantom Menace. And it's...
Yep. And then you get replaced right away.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because he had to grow up in the second one. He wasn't old enough to play his teenage self by the second one, was he?
I don't know, but none of the other actors got replaced.
What was the...
I mean, even Jar Jar was still around.
What was the time span between episode 1 and episode 2? That was just like a couple of
2 or
years.
3 years.
So yeah,
Yeah.
he wouldn't have been old enough to play that part yet anyway. They had to do like a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air type time lapse where just over the course of a summer he went from baby to 5 years old.
Yeah. That's true.
But you know, just before we move too far away from it, the whole idea of having to pay people to repopulate your area, wouldn't you pay women to do that? Like if you're going to perpetuate your culture, you would want to get women to come in and marry into ice. I mean, I'm using them as an example. Marry into the culture's males and perpetuate the names and the lineages, right? As opposed to the opposite.
You don't understand how Iceland names their people, do you?
No, I don't. Is it some kind of contest?
No, it's you take the name of your father, and you're either so and so's son or so and so's daughter. It's the old style.
Oh.
Yes. And you know, another interesting aspect to this is, Pat, you pointed out, wouldn't you have to pay the women to go in because the men would be all for it, obviously, right?
Yes.
But in Japan, they're having a shortage of male porn stars.
Oh God.
So it's
We've already discussed this, Tip, as how you need to go save the country of Japan.
well, what I'm saying is a lot of these preconceived notions just seem to be
Ill-conceived,
yes, ill-conceived. That's a good word.
right?
Of course, I have no background in any of this. I just read headlines on Twitter.
Okay, I just Googled Japanese population crisis, and it says the number of Japanese people aged 65 years or older nearly quadrupled in the last 40 years to 33 million. In 2014, accounting for 26% of Japan's population. These predictions prompted a pledge by Prime Minister
Shinzo Abe.
Abe to halt population decline at 100 million.
So I was really hoping to get Pat in trouble by Googling Japanese porn stars, but apparently I failed.
I will absolutely not do that, especially on a computer that me and my wife both use. That would not be nice.
It was a master plan, in my opinion. Masterful plan. Thought for sure.
But think about it, Tip. I mean, you go over there. If somebody paid you, how much would you need to be paid to move over to Japan and just help perpetuate their society?
I don't. I'm sure I would need lessons in their society as well, since I know very little about Japanese society aside from
Well, I mean,
what I've seen in anime.
it should. I mean, basically, it's a culture shift, but I'm talking more like uprooting your life from the States and living somewhere else, but on a permanent basis. You know, kind of like, I mean, what is it? Brandon is in Germany right now, so he's almost had to acclimate to the culture in Germany. And
Not really, because he works on an American base.
America.
Yeah. And I mean, when I went to visit Germany and I went to go see Brandon, everyone spoke English. So there was no, oh my God, what am I going to do?
there was no like culture shock. You feel?
Yeah. I mean, even when I was in the grocery store, the lady was still. I was just like trying to fake like, hey, I want to try this sample that you're handing out. She's like, oh yeah, you could try this. I was like, oh, thank God that you speak English because that looked really good, and it wasn't, but oh well.
Well, I mean that's kind of the thing that I think would be the most like frightening for a person who would just need to uproot their lives and go somewhere else, is that fear that they would have to give up anything that resembled where they came from. But I could see where if you can make that transition by having kind of like a duo type culture area, that you can slowly transition into that. But the idea that you just like plucked out of one place, slammed into another, that's pretty scary. I don't know.
Now, the person we should be holding up as an example, I'm surprised this guy didn't pop into your head first, is Chase.
Oh yeah, excellent. That's a better example,
No.
actually.
Well, everyone forgets Chase.
Oh man,
I'm just saying,
sorry, buddy.
he actually did uproot himself, go to a whole nother culture where he had to learn the language, and
Married one of the locals.
he married a local, had a kid,
Had
and
a handsome little kid. That's right. And yeah, you're absolutely right. Why didn't I think of him?
because
Because
you
everyone
have-
forgets about Chase.
Aw,
yeah.
Sorry, buddy. So here's
I'm not.
that actually brings me to my to my next point, is that apparently in Germany, although he said it was an American-based beer, it's called Spencer beer, and I guess it's native to America, but I've never seen a beer served in a champagne bottle before.
So it's from Massachusetts.
Okay.
Comes from Spencer Trappist Brewery. Yeah, so it's an American beer. It's probably the one in the champagne bottle is probably one of their No, it's a holiday ale.
Is that a lager? Is that a
It's an ale
okay?
because it's in the name. They have two. They have a Trappist ale and a holiday ale. They do a firebending beer.
Like Avatar, the Firebender.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
They do a lager. They do an IPA, and then they do an imperial stout that looks delicious.
Oh man, I have an affair with IPAs. Oof. Okay, do you guys like IPAs? Tip,
I do.
Jeff.
No.
Okay, one of you entered correctly. Now here's why. For some reason,
Sorry,
all
Tip, you're wrong.
see, it works both ways. But no, seriously, what IPAs have to have the most. I feel like if I've never had a beer before, and somebody had to describe to me what a beer was, it's bitter, but it has a cool aftertaste. When served correctly, it's chilled, and it's a grown-up drink. That's exactly what I imagine an IPA to be. You know, it's so refreshing, but it almost has this tart taste to it. And I know it's a little bit bitter.
It's called hop.
The hops, yeah, as much as hoppy as you can get it. And I don't mean like over selling it, but like St. Pauli Girl. St. Pauli Girl is absolutely one of my favorites. And I remember that the first time I ever had a St. Pauli Girl was actually during that beer competition that we had, where we determined Alamo beer was the winner, and yet none of us ever drink Alamo beer ever again. And that was
So here's what really bothers me, Pat.
yes,
Name your favorite beers.
my favorite beers.
Yeah.
My absolute favorite beer, I would have to say, is you can't make me choose between my children though. Okay, I like the Irish Red.
St. Pauli's Girl is one. Miller High Life, I think, is one. you
Okay,
drink
no.
pretty regularly.
Okay, listen. Miller High Life is my. I can't responsibly be purchasing high quality beers all the time. That's my kind of like, I have beer here for me and if April's parents come over. But for me,
Miller Lite.
not just
Miller Lite.
yeah, but Miller. I feel like I'm at a baseball game and I wait. I don't want to do that outside a baseball game. Miller High Life's not bad. It's not bad. It's really not, especially when you make it into a Boilermaker. It's amazing.
Okay.
And actually, I've read online that if you're going to do a Boilermaker, to avoid wasting the beer, you do it with almost cheap beers. you have to find one that'll actually make it taste good, but it's to avoid, just you already have like an Irish red ale. The hell, I'm going to drop anything into that. You know what I mean? But if
Yeah.
you're looking into the pale lagers, the blonde ales, and it's something like bloody Miller High Life, I don't care. And actually, Miller High Life, ice cold with a shot of Captain Morgan in there. Oh man, that's pretty good. I mean, if you're 21 or over, if you're 21 or under, it's terrible. It's awful. It's terrible. Don't go near it. 21 or over, it's amazing.
Yes, because your taste buds change when you turn 21.
Instantaneously. But yeah,
Yep.
man, I love the IPAs, and I mean, I've always loved them. I loved that from the St. Pauli girl and all that, but I just recently I had this one. My brother-in-law actually got it for me from Tin Man, and me and Tip have gone to Tin Man before, and it's one place that I think we've talked about before. But they have all these local breweries that send them their beers, Dead Beach, and oh god, what's the other one? I can't believe I don't have this. I didn't do my homework. But all these other local breweries that do it, I know, right? But it was so delicious. It was a 9% beer. And to be honest with you, I don't know about you gentlemen, but as I get a little bit older, I tend to shy away from the stronger things. Just because I go down faster. Tip probably, it's like water to him at this point.
Pat, you go down on people faster when you drink stronger beers. That's not something I would broadcast.
Don't twist my words. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
you have
Chip
had
is
people.
I
excited.
said, no, I mean it. I'm an old man now, and I instead of having fun and partying, I just fall asleep. But yeah, I mean, it was a really good IPA. It was amazing, and then I don't know. I like those kind of sour beers. I guess I don't know.
I recently had it's from this brewery called Martin House. It was called True Love, and it was a raspberry sour beer, and it was pretty good, especially if you ate it with some chocolate.
Ooh.
Hmm.
Well, beers are kind of like wines, right? You can certain ones go better with certain meals.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where where people for a while now we're kind of late on the bandwagon. Like, oh, did you know you can pair beers? Uh-oh. Oh, I got a message from Pat.
Well, no, it's relevant to our conversation. You're not supposed to miss.
It threw me off. I'm completely off topic now. I don't know what's going on. So let's talk about the new Toyota CHR.
Oh God. Okay.
I don't know. I
What?
just saw an ad. I don't know. I saw an ad.
Well, before we move on to the Toyota CHR, I actually have one more thing I wanted to mention regarding drinks in general, and I wanted to ask Jeff specifically this opinion, because Jeff, you're more of a liquor guy, right?
No comment.
Oh no, okay, but you're known to enjoy the adult beverages, I should say.
Perhaps.
Okay, nothing wrong with that. I very openly express my love for rum constantly, probably too much. Where, hi, my name is Patrick, almost. But rum, specifically Sailor Jerry, I've noticed something different about it from any other rum. And I used to highly praise rum. I mean, Sailor Jerry. I think it's great. I think it's awesome. If they ever wants to sponsor us, man, I'd be on that boat in 2 seconds. But this last time I had Sailor Jerry, for some reason, I felt like it did this weird kind of, like I felt almost pouty and like a weird moody type of thing. And I've never felt like,
Like a woman.
oh my God, damn it, Jeff. No, that's not what I'm saying. It made me, and I'm going to tell your wife that, by the way. But I felt
That's
almost,
okay.
I felt almost
She's right
like,
behind me.
no, but I mean like depressed in a way. Like kind of like I felt like, oh man, I don't want to do anything. This is like I felt lazy. And I was like, do different liquors affect your personality?
No, but turning 30 does, and since you just did that,
Well, I turned 31, Tip. Thanks a lot. I got it.
I was trying to segue into happy birthday, Pat, but
Oh no! I thought you were making a joke by intentionally saying 30 instead of 31, like saying, "Oh yeah, once you start going downhill." But thanks, man.
No.
You start going downhill.
But thanks, man. That's really nice of you. Yes.
you know, Pat turned 30 and he got depressed and wanting to go down on people.
Look, man.
Your words, not mine.
I did. You're misconstruing my. That's not what. No. But yeah, I don't know why, but now I've decided that my new favorite rum has switched from Sailor Jerry to Captain Morgan.
I like whiskey. Not a big rum drinker.
I didn't think I would be a rum person, but it's the only liquor that I think I can stand. And then unfortunately, I only like it in the form of mixers. I can't drink the stuff straight. I probably should be able to, but I'm not at that point yet.
Yep.
Now, if I just had a jerry can mini bar that I could stuff all my rum into, I think I'd be happy.
That would be kind of cool. Chase showed that to us today.
You know, he's going to be really pissed that we talked about that without him here.
Well, I mean, it's not like we didn't invite him. I mean, it sucks that he's not here, but we could always re-bring it up, I guess. But
That's a service to our fans.
to not have the originator of the thing, we always steal each other's ideas.
To talk about the same thing twice.
Oh, that's a good point.
I like how Jeff said fans.
You mean the fan?
We may have a few.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing: is that okay, people who may not know this, we actually we talk outside of recording podcasts. We're actually friends, and we talk about stuff. It's gonna happen that we're gonna
Who's he
repeat,
talking about?
like
I
us.
don't know.
No, oh my god! See,
I mean, I was very, very close to like getting off this
Tip's really close to getting off. He said it.
Discord. Is that what this is? Because I mean, it was just Jeff and I don't want to talk.
No, it's awkward.
See, this is not good. Where I'm being thrown into the bus by trying to say, you see, we actually talk outside of podcasting and stuff, but we tend to bring up some of the same stories just by happenstance. We forget that we've told each other these stories, or sometimes there's a new person to show up, and maybe there's a new person that shows up to a podcast, and they'll hear it for the first time. So it's nature. It's how it's going to happen. It's not like we're intentionally going back and bringing stuff back from the past. It's what we do. But in Chase's case, where he's not here to plead his case for his jerry can mini bar, I feel it's important to point out that I also saw it on Facebook around the same time that he posted it. And
You saw it around the time he posted it, huh?
well, but he posted it on the WeChat, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I saw that earlier. But I was like, okay, that's his thing because he posted it to the WeChat first. So I'll let him talk about it. But I had already observed the idea and was like, oh wow, I would love this idea of having a jerry can mini bar, but at the same time would be very afraid that everybody around me would think that I've somehow fallen into some really bad alcoholic type situation where you're hiding liquor inside a jerry can inside your car. That's like the ultimate something's gone wrong.
The ultimate something's gone wrong is buying a cup of ice so you could fill it with liquor at the gas station and drive around with a cup of ice and a
Tip.
That's the ultimate. What?
That was a very specific scenario.
That was really specific.
I used to work at a gas station. I saw it all the time.
Ah, okay. Fair enough. Just checking. I have to make sure.
Yeah. You know, I'm brave enough that I just have the road can in my koozie. I'm kidding, guys. I don't condone that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no. It has to be handled responsibly. Right?
Yep.
As
In your
every-
Uber.
There you go. You know, I think the Uber drivers that actually provide you the bottled waters and the aspirin and all that stuff so that you can kind of calm down a bit afterwards. I think those are the people that will make the most money.
You and I are getting two different types of Uber drivers.
Well, you know that they rate their customers too, Tip, right? So if you've been belligerent or like excessively drunk inside of a Uber, they're rating you as well. Have you been belligerent inside of an Uber car, Tip?
One time I had an Uber driver that was deaf, and that was the most awkward drive I'd ever had because I couldn't tell them that they were going the long way. Like, I really wanted to get home, and they wanted to get on the highway. It's like, no, you just go straight down this road. And, like, the lady wasn't listening to me because she was deaf, and I was just like, oh, shit, this is going to end, horribly. And...
Well, I mean,
guys,
as long as
you.
Always read up about your Uber driver. They send you that profile for a reason.
Oh yeah, I mean it goes both ways. You rate them, they rate you.
In all fairness, I thought Pat was saying Uber drivers rape you.
I did not say that whatsoever. Did not say that in any context. Jeff, have you ever tried to Uber?
I have not.
You know,
I also live very close to Shreveport, and you don't want to ride the taxis here, and I don't think there is an Uber thing here either.
Now, one thing I will say is Jeff somehow got away with renting like the best car you could rent in Germany.
Yeah.
It was pretty nice. First time in a Land Rover. I enjoyed it.
You were pretty well hungover, so I don't know how much you enjoyed it.
Not a whole lot,
I
but
didn't think so.
had we been in a different car, like a Hyundai that was white, making that drive while I was
You were
hungover.
very specific about that. A Hyundai that was white.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Had we been in that car making that long drive, that would have sucked.
No, what would have sucked is getting
Honda,
up at-
Honda. Pat drives a Honda. Sorry.
oh,
What
what the
would've-
heck? I thought, what the heck? I was all enjoying your story. I was like, wow, what a crappy car. Oh wait, no, it's a.
Yeah, it is a crappy car, Pat.
No, what would have sucked was getting up at 4 after staying up late at a wedding so you could drive some guy to the airport.
That's why I didn't go to bed.
I was about to say that's another specific situation.
You should be thankful I went to bed.
Yeah, I am thankful. I'm very thankful that you gave me that ride, and I'm very appreciative.
And I'm going to hold it over your head as long as we chat online.
That
Okay,
seems fair. That seems very fair.
Yeah,
understood.
I just want you to know that.
I mean,
How long ago was the wedding? Last October? Has it?
yeah.
So I mean,
That's not that long ago.
I think what needs to happen here is that Tip needs to go visit Jeff, and take him out to a night of drinking, and then drive Jeff home to balance
I
out
am
the
not.
waters.
I am not taking anybody out on a night drinking in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Where's your sense of adventure?
it stops there. Ooh, man.
Ah, come on!
So-
you can go out, get a $38 pizza, you'd be set.
Nice segue.
Yeah.
I just, again, one of the other things that we talk about in our madness while we're basically insulting each other all day long is there was a picture posted by Chase. He found that. Was it him that found that? I want to make sure I don't give him credit he doesn't deserve. But
Steal his credit. Don't give him credit he doesn't deserve. Who cares?
there's a $38 pizza that basically looks like very tight encrusted type of square pizza. Like I don't hold on. It was on-
It's basically high school cafeteria pizza.
exactly like the ones that you would buy in the line at like at the college cafe or the high school thing.
I was thinking more like public school, like middle school and stuff. Friday was pizza day, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, this pizza's so good," blah blah blah. And it really wasn't good. It's just relative to everything else that they served you.
Yeah, but okay. It says I'm trying to find their reasoning for why it costs so much.
Ever since Emma
Oh
upgraded to
my
Because they can
god!
get away with it.
Sony Bravia OLED.
I hate websites that do that. They just pop open with videos. But basically, it takes a long time to chill it, and then the dough rises a certain way, and then they pack it in a certain way, and that's what makes it cost so much. So which leads me to ask: would you pay $38 for a pizza, or would you pay $38 for regular pizzas?
No.
Yeah.
Even as a novelty, would anybody ever pay $38 for one pizza, little tiny pan pizza? I mean, because we could be
No.
wrong here. In a couple of months, this could be the new like fidget spinner thing, everybody's ordering $38 pizzas and they're making videos of themselves on YouTube doing it, but I I can't imagine any amount of effort that goes into this thing that would warrant a tiny thing costing $38. It's just insane.
Well, yeah. I'm going to change the subject because I'm on Honda's website.
Oh God, what's wrong with
And
my
I-
car now?
And I really like how like you go into the world map of where they service, and all the disputed borders, they actually just put like dashed lines instead of like, yeah, this is. If you look at other maps, they don't do that. It's a solid line. Like you wouldn't know that border is disputed. But Honda's like, yeah, let's just all of northern India is disputed, so we'll do dashed lines there.
Are we talking about Honda Civics?
No, I'm talking about international politics.
And,
Oh
and
God.
cars.
Yeah.
Because you started looking at the Honda website, and then you start talking about international borders.
Yeah, because it's locate a dealer, and somehow I am locating a dealer in Islamabad.
Oh boy.
You don't want to know what kind of Honda you can get over there. And I just
Really?
offended one listener from Islamabad.
It's like, well, I never. I appreciated Jeff until he said that one thing about my homeland, and that was it. Never again.
Yeah.
Oh man, You know what? I. As far as worldly things are happening, there's so much information going on nowadays. I don't even. It's weird to listen to any type of like social speaking endeavor, podcasts, online videos, anything that doesn't have some sort of worldly events thing tied to it. I hate to say it like this because I don't want to sound like I'm not interested, but I'm so exhausted by it all. The world is constantly in a state of turmoil, according to the news, and it's so exhausting. It's like, why can't people just take a break from it for a day? Just relax. Go order a $38 pizza. Whatever. Get your mind off
They
it.
did.
Doesn't sell headlines.
They did take a break from it for a day when they started talking about Kafifi.
It's true.
Yeah. That was nice. I like that everybody can still Dougie pile in a hilarious way, but it was just they have to take a break from that stuff, man. It's crazy.
They won't. Their butt hurt.
Well, everybody in general is butthurt. I don't want to start any fires unnecessarily, but it's just I don't know. I feel like if people would look at more of what we have in common, they would realize that a lot of the stuff that's being told to them is kind of everything is being laced with a bias because of money. I've always told my brother this, and I could be wrong and horribly ignorant. Oh my God, that guy's an idiot. Well, it's Jackass Express. What do you expect? But anything that seeks to make money is going to favor the opinion that's most popular. So regardless of your political stance, or economic stance, or worldly stance, or cultural stance, or whatever, if what is being criticized at the moment is popular, that's going to be the majority opinion of all the heavy hitters because that's what's going to bring in the most ratings. Like Jeff was saying, it doesn't make headlines. And if you just look at how quickly everything shifts when something new breaking happens and how all the attention of the world focuses on one thing and all the big things in the past that were a big deal yesterday no longer are, it's almost sad in a way that it's so obvious that that's what's happening, that people just go with the popular opinion to make money, and then you see all the trickle-down effect of all the little people. God bless them, because I consider myself one of the little people, but they shift their entire life's values or core beliefs or go into these anxiety-ridden states because the people that they watched on TV all the time suddenly are saying something different, or they're being.
Can we edit stuff on the stream?
No, this is a live
No,
stream.
we're live casting.
It's a live cast.
Huh.
But you know what? You can say whatever you want, but just remember that's.
No, because I do not want to deal with the repercussions of this statement.
Oh, okay. Good call, then. Good call. But I really feel like it's important for people to root themselves in some kind of personal foundation first, establish what they truly believe and the values that they hold important, and then gravitate towards those that are of similar opinion, regardless of what they are, regardless of what you believe. Good for you, but don't be so easily upset and swayed by people who make it so easy to get you upset. That's what I think.
think people get so upset and swayed because they do gravitate towards people with their own opinion and they aren't ever challenged. So that when they are finally challenged by someone with a differing opinion, it becomes, oh my god, how come you don't believe the same thing me and all my friends believe?
Exactly, like it's some sort of personal attack on themselves. I don't know who said it or who told me this, but it's like people often take their political standpoint and associate it with their identity. So if somebody disagrees with their political standpoint, they almost feel like them as a personal has been insulted. Well, no, the idea that you were suggesting is being insulted. The idea, what you were suggesting, but it's not a reflection of you. You're simply expressing your belief of what you have based off of what you know. And I feel like that's why people have such a hard time like having honest conversations and can be subject to maybe change their mind about something. It's because instead of listening to reason or just listening to the information given and then making a new decision, instead they take it as a personal attack, so they're unwilling to change or try to listen to new things. And at the very least, it's closed-minded. It's very unfortunate. I don't know.
And another thing that bothers me, and every so often I go off on a rant, and that's usually because I'll be like driving home, and I call my grandma when I drive home because I want to see how she's doing. And every day it's, hey grandma, how's the weather? Oh, Trump pulled out of the Paris Agreement, so we're all gonna burn up and drown. It's like, okay, grandma.
It's nice talking to you too, Grandma.
You know, sometimes you just want to have a nice conversation with someone, and it doesn't happen.
No, but you see, that's exactly what I mean. Is that because the world is making everything about that at the current moment? That's what's the interesting thing to talk about. So instead of, oh hey, Tip, I went out to the garden today and I found 2 bigger beetles than the one you found. It's because the world's telling her that that's the most important thing to talk about. She's talking about that. God bless her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not really her fault. It's
It's all her fault. She brought it up.
Yeah, I feel bad for these kids that are growing up in this world that's just constantly screaming at each other. I mean, when we were growing up, that was happening, but it didn't have the same type of, resonance that now social media provides. It's on Twitter, it's on Facebook, it's everywhere. And it's like, how do they're going to grow up thinking that every single person older than them is an idiot because all we can do is fight with each other. And at least I hope that's what they take away from it. But
no, they just fight with each other too.
I guess.
Yes.
Jeff, what's your stance on? I know it's kind of a shift here, but what's your stance on like electronic devices, smartphones with kids? At least at this stage in your kids' development. Remember, everything's just an opinion. I know none of us are doctors here, so it's totally fine. We're not child professionals.
We have a tablet for our child.
Nothing wrong with that. I do not have anything wrong.
And she watches educational television on YouTube.
I think that's great. Because honestly, I'm the same way. I don't have a specific tablet for him yet, but I'm thinking about getting one. Because I remember that there was this joke that Conan O'Brien made that said something like, some researchers had said that the more screen time a toddler has with a tablet, the less likely they are to succeed in life. And he said, and in response, all tired parents of the world said, "Shut the F up."
That is very accurate.
It is
so
extraordinarily accurate.
I don't have a kid,
Mm-hmm.
but
That you know of.
that I know of, that's true. My stance on tablets with kids. My cousin's son has a tablet, and he can get the iPad and navigate to whatever he wants. No problem. Like, he has that thing mastered. When I was his age, 3, I was eating mud.
And now you're 30 and you're eating mud.
Yes, but I'm getting paid to eat mud now.
That's how he found that beetle. Hey,
You're not
Important
supposed
things
to
in
be.
life.
Yeah.
do you want some mud, buddy?
But it's just I look at it and people say, oh, these kids aren't going to be successful, and in a way I think having all that information and all that constant entertainment and everything does make it harder for someone to be successful because they have that instant gratification. They don't know putting in the hard effort or the work or saving because everything for them is instant. But I think it's more the way the parents are raising the kid and not so much that the kid has a tablet.
Exactly. Would you agree with that, Jeff?
Yeah, and what I heard him say was, "You're a horrible parent." I think is what he said
No.
to you specifically.
Oh no. Okay, wait, Tip. To be fair, when I said the word "muddy buddy," it reminded me of that ice cream we used to get at the corner store. So my brain went off into a tangent. But no, I mean, I feel like as long as it's guided, and it's not like you're replacing a parent with the tablet, it's fine. And like Jeff said, there's educational stuff on there. Heck, I've even seen these people on YouTube that they mod GTA 4 into like Spider-Man and Captain America driving around these cars with colors, and then they actually make a show out of it. Like, here's this different colored car. Here's
There's also a British guy on there who was eaten by a couch, and my daughter wouldn't go into the living room for like a month.
oh good
So
God.
it works both ways.
That's true. Yeah, like
Yeah.
it has to be a guided experience. Like, have you seen this YouTube Kids thing they do, Jeff?
Yes.
Is that where they saw the man-eating couch?
Yes.
Doggone. Come on, YouTube, get on that. But yeah, I mean, I feel it can be a very strong weapon at their disposal, especially before they go into school. They could have their lessons learned very well before they're even in kindergarten. It could raise the expectation for how much a kid knows by the time they get to kindergarten, which may be a little bit unfair, but I think it's a good thing. I actually, on the contrary of what everybody thinks, I think giving them tablets guided is a good thing. They have an entire resource to whatever they want to know at such an early age. That's freaking cool.
Whatever they want to know.
But
Okay,
you know,
parents, get your pitchforks out.
well, it's because, I mean, think about this, Tip, and then counter this point. We're so jaded by the things that people that we know might look for, like Chase. Just kidding, Jeff. And so we think if a kid has it, they're going to immediately go for bad things that they shouldn't. But they're innocent minds. I mean, they're just discovering the world. They want to know how planes work. They want to know how ice cream is made. They want to know how, it goes from cow to milk. I mean, it's
And they want to know where babies come from.
eventually, yes, they will. But I mean, in the European school systems, that's not a big taboo. It's only here in the States that it's such a big taboo. They just frankly say, yeah, mommy and daddy, they get together, there's baby. And if it's biological knowledge, it's not the end of the world, and especially if it's guided knowledge, I don't know.
Do a quick Google search right now, Pat, of where do babies come from.
I don't. Tip, stop trying to get me to do things. I said I'm already jaded. Well, in any case, I don't know if this is a place to start wrapping up. Get a little stop-off point here before we plan episode 51 or something. But is there anything you guys want to talk about before we go?
9.
9. Tip.
No.
Okay, so it's concluded. Protested. Kids need tablets at all times. That's exactly what you should take away from this. Sorry. That's all I got. All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening to the Jackass Express, episode 50. We are hopefully going to get more of the guys on for episode 51. What I want to do, guys, for episode 51, or at least when we have more people, is kind of have like a mini recanting of the 50 episodes that we've had and talk about...
A what?
like, kind of like a
He
recant.
wants us
A
to remember.
recanting?
Yeah.
A recanting.
What's a recanting?
I'm Googling it at this moment to defend myself. Say that one no longer holds any opinion or belief, especially one consider. I want to have a retelling.
A
Of our-
recounting?
Recounting.
Recounting is the right word.
I would like to talk about our experience with being with with the podcast, get everybody's opinion, and just see how far we've come. I think that'd be very interesting to kind of talk about all of our experiences with using the podcast and how it's helped us become what we are now, which is a critically acclaimed, injured podcast.
Your mom doesn't count as a critic.
Well, that's not what she says. She's very critical.
She must be very critical because she kept his brother from joining us.
Yes.
Yes, that's what he told us.
Uh-huh. Said Mrs. Nicely.
It's like walking on eggshells. Can't say anything out of line. All right, guys. Thanks again for listening. Make sure you go to our blogspot, jackassexpress.blogspot.com. Hey, make sure to check out our YouTube page, which I'm sure if you're listening to this on our YouTube page, you're already there. Just hit a subscribe. That would help us out. And ask us about things you'd like us to talk about. And we will talk to you next time. Farewell.
Good night.